Native token XRP, the SEC had said that it was going against the securities law. The US court ruled in your favor. The SEC has now indicated that it could end up appealing that decision. So what was your reaction when that news came through?
Well, on one hand, it's frustrating. You know, you have a government that has unlimited resources to keep fighting a fight they've already lost, but there's no recourse. And so, you know, for Ripple, we've obviously spent well over $100 million already defending this case. We are very optimistic. You know, the judge has already said very clearly XRP is not a security. What they have asked permission from the courts to appeal isn't actually whether or not XRP is a security. That is still clear. It's more nuanced about whether or not in certain circumstances, if there's a transaction, there'd be an investment contract. So I don't know what the court will rule about whether or not they're even allowed to appeal right now. But I remain very optimistic because I think as you go up the appellate court system in the United States, you actually get more conservative. And that, I think, bodes well. And at the end of the day, I said this a long time ago, the facts are on our side and the law is on our side. And we'll continue to prevail in court because of that.
I'm interested when it comes to, because you just mentioned the amount of hiring that you're doing, 80% of it is going to be outside of the US over the course of this year. When it comes to who is going to be the next crypto hub or define themselves as the global crypto hub, do you think that the door is permanently shut on the US being able to do that?
I wouldn't say it's permanently shut. It's definitely it's definitely a tough spot. You know, the U.S. is still the largest economy in the world at 22% of global GDP, and so we will have a presidential election. There will be a change, or maybe there'll be a change. I don't know if Biden's definitely running. I don't comment on those things, but I think there'll be some shift as you see new administrations come in. I think eventually Congress will be frankly called to act. And I think the fact that the SEC continues to lose in court, there's another decision recently around a grayscale ETF conversion. Yeah. And look, the judges are using really harsh language about the SEC. In the grayscale case, the judge's ruling, there's an appellate court, a unanimous 3-judge panel saying that the SEC was being arbitrary and capricious. These are pretty harsh words for a government agency.
Solo Scrooge, sending peace and blessings to you all out there. Hashtag Solo Nation. How's it going, my people? Hope everyone's well. Appreciate you all for the love and support of the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're giving you updates on Sologenic, XRP and Coreum. Also hit the like button. That helps push the channel through the analytics and helps the channel grow. And as we just heard Brad Garlinghouse say, 80% of hiring this year will be outside the US, where the crypto payments company is embroiled in a long-running legal dispute with the SEC. But Ripple's not a security. They just need to stop with the games. So BlackRock rumoured to shift crypto focus from Bitcoin to XRP. Let's read a little bit of this quickly. In the ever-evolving cryptocurrency landscape, rumours suggest that BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with over $9 trillion in assets under management, may be reassessing its digital asset strategy. The financial giant is speculated to be considering a shift in focus from Bitcoin, the leading digital currency, to XRP, a digital asset primarily known for its payment protocol. Several factors are believed to be driving this speculative shift, including the changing regulatory environment surrounding cryptocurrencies, advancements in technology, and the possible intention to diversify their digital asset portfolio. While these rumors remain unconfirmed, they could carry substantial implications for the broader digital asset landscape if proven accurate. XRP has been steadily gaining traction in financial circles due to its potential applications in various financial services, particularly in cross-border transactions. A pivot by BlackRock towards XRP could not only increase the digital assets market value, but could also significantly enhance its credibility within the financial services sector. This possible shift in BlackRock's investment strategy could also reflect a broader market trend as the cryptocurrency landscape matures. Both retail and institutional investors are increasingly diversifying their portfolios to include a variety of digital assets. This development potentially opens up opportunities for alternatives to Bitcoin, which, despite being a pioneer in the crypto world, has grappled with challenges related to scalability and environmental concerns. So look, BlackRock rumored to shift crypto focus from Bitcoin to XRP. We all know it's XRP. You know, we salute Bitcoin, but we all know it's XRP. So shout out to MetaMan X, and he tweeted David Schwartz speaking on XRP Ledger Hooks, Apex 2023. So let's hear what David's saying.
Complementing that, of course, is hooks, which I talked a tiny bit about before. This is some work done by XRPL Labs and Wietse Wynn's team. Hooks is a bespoke, light, smart contract solution for the XRP ledger, complementary to the EVM sidechain. One of the things I like the most about Hooks is that it is built in sort of the XRP ledger spirit. The XRP ledger, when it was developed, we could have just adopted everything Bitcoin did and been another sort of clone of Bitcoin, but we didn't. We rethought things from the ground up. We thought about decentralization. We thought about performance. We thought about making something that's sort of light. And Hooks definitely embodies that spirit. As I mentioned during my Apex keynote last year, we at Ripple are very much in support of Wietse's efforts. It's very, very cool landmark. Just recently, it passed a comprehensive security audit this year. That is extremely difficult to do for a feature this complicated. So that's, as someone who's written features of, complex features that have to pass third-party security audits, that's a very, very difficult thing to do and a very significant accomplishment and absolutely essential to risk large amounts of value. So, yeah, that's a huge. Now, you can't do everything that you could do on an EVM platform with Hooks, but you can do a very significant fraction of important use cases, and that's only going to grow over time. And there are a lot of downsides of sort of a Turing complete or EVM compatible sidechain that you don't have with Hooks. If you think about like the way Ethereum itself works, everything about it is built to support smart contracts. There's an enormous number of trade-offs in terms of confirmation time and fees and stability and resource consumption that you have to make to support a smart contract implementation that heavy. The trade-off is that you can support very, very complicated functionality. Hooks draws a different trade-off. You can't do literally everything that you could do, but all of the important, interesting things I think you will be able to do. And in exchange, you won't have that unpredictability with fees, the resource consumption. So fantastic, fantastic work. And the other cool thing about it is Ripple had absolutely nothing to do with it. We funded some of the developers, but it's not our project. Like, they tell us great things about what they've done, and we silently applaud. That sometimes creates the perception that we're not supportive. We absolutely are. It's just, it's not our project, and we're not going to try to take it over. We're going to just watch and cheer from the sidelines and occasionally maybe some funding if they need it.
Shout out to MetaMan X. So Bob Ross tweeted, I highly recommend the ebook published by Fireblocks that delves into the future of tokenization. It is noteworthy that Fireblocks recently integrated with Sologenic, and it is encouraging to observe that Sologenic is now a part of the Fireblocks network. So how can tokenization enable faster, more secure and more transparent asset ownership? We've teamed up with Microsoft and Intel to create this ebook, which covers what tokenization is, how it works, and the biggest security considerations for institutions looking to tokenize real-world assets. So ebook, The Future of Blockchain and Tokenization, a New Model for Traditional Markets. I'll leave the link in the video description for anyone who wants to take a look. So I tweeted, when institutions want to deposit fiat or crypto into Sologenic, Fireblocks will help secure the private keys and wallets behind the scenes. Hashtag Solo Nation, hashtag Solo, hashtag Go Solo, XRPL. So Sologenic tweeted, the XLS30 proposal is up for voting and Sologenic is ready. During the past 3 months, the team has actively worked on integrating Ripple's innovative AMM proposal set to streamline liquidity management across the XRPL. Here's a snippet of the single pool interface. Looks nice, looks user-friendly, add liquidity, remove liquidity, swap, come on. So Elon Musk tweeted, he said it's vital that creators be able to leave our platform at any time and take their subscribers with them. We want to give a peace of mind to creators that they're not trapped here if they build a large audience. Shout out to Kappa Gonna Cap. He says, nothing is more vital than tweeting about Sologenic, the next NYSE all-in-one dApp meant to tokenize the world. Kappa. Shout out to Kappa. So look, Coreum tweeted, and they said, Wave 3 development grant applications are now open. Coreum continues to seek dedicated devs and projects that enhance blockchain utility by leveraging smart token technology with a borderless cross-chain approach. Areas of focus include DeFi tokenization of real-world assets, decentralized IDs, ZK proofs, and XRPL implementations. Applications close on October the 30th. Hashtag build on Coreum. So Coreum still building. And I tweeted, while both projects focus on asset tokenization, Sologenic is centered on a specific use case built on established technology, while Coreum takes a broader blockchain platform approach. The technical architectures and token utility models differ significantly between the two, and we're bullish on both of them. So Coreum also tweeted, Coreum has successfully integrated IBC. Assets can now be moved freely across Axelar, Osmosis, Evmos, Gravity, and Cosmos. A first step towards seamless cross-chain operations supercharged with smart token programmability. Hashtag build on Coreum. Come on, my people. So just in, Watcher Guru posted, US Congressman introduces bill to ban the Federal Reserve from creating a CBDC. Let's listen to this.
The Central Bank Digital Currency Anti-Surveillance State Act, which puts a check on unelected bureaucrats and ensures that the United States digital currency policy upholds our values of privacy, individual sovereignty, and free market competitiveness. Recent actions from the Biden administration have made it clear that they are not only itching to create a digital dollar, but they're willing to trade Americans' right to financial privacy for a surveillance-style CBDC. This bill ensures the future of crypto is in the hands of the American people, not the administrative state, by prohibiting the Federal Reserve from creating a tool with unfettered insight into Americans' financial data. If not open, permissionless, and private, like cash, a CBDC is nothing more than a CCP-style surveillance tool that can be weaponized to oppress the American way of life. We're not going to let that happen, not on House Republicans' watch. And I want to thank the Financial Services Committee for considering our bill this month, and we're going to continue working to ensure that the digital economy is designed by Americans and emulates American value.
So that congressman, he sounds like he's fed up with the Federal Reserve. You know, he doesn't want the Federal Reserve to take more control. They've already got control of the reserves. And then I saw this article a few days later. FTX to sell 3.4 billion in Solana, Bitcoin and other tokens. So FTX customers will receive payments after Judge John Dorsey approves the sale of recovered assets. So the key takeaways are FTX creditors can sell up to $200 million every week. It's crazy. 200 million every week. Galaxy Digital will manage FTX customers' assets. FTX, the now bankrupt crypto exchange, has received court approval to sell its digital assets, which are currently valued at more than 3.4 billion. Delaware District Judge John Dorsey approved an order to allow the bankrupt exchange to sell, generate yield through staking, and hedge price movements of its crypto holdings to make FTX customers whole. An attorney representing FTX customers said FTX's view is that the digital assets we're selling are assets of the debtors. Here's a breakdown of FTX's crypto holdings from this week's court presentation. So they hold 1.16 billion in Solana, 560 million in Bitcoin, 192 million in Ethereum, 137 in Aptos, 120 million in Tether, 49 million in BitDIO, 46 million in DeFi project on Layer 0, Stargate Finance, 41 million in Wrapped Bitcoin, 37 million in Wrapped Ether. They got a lot to dump on the markets. Another lawyer representing FTX debtors said the crypto assets are not traceable to the individual customer. The bankrupt exchange holds around 11.5 billion in assets, including 4.5 billion in its ventures portfolio, 3.4 billion in assets, 2.4 billion in cash, 529 million in brokerage investments, and 199 million in Bahamas real estate, amongst others. This ruling allows FTX creditors to sell up to 200 million in assets every week. FTX debtors would be required to give the US Department of Justice 10 days notice before selling the assets. However, yesterday the exchange agreed with the US trustee to keep crypto sales private to prevent impact on prices. This is what I'm saying, my people. Look, the markets has got to drop. The markets has got to drop, in my opinion, not financial advice. So Mike Novogratz, Galaxy Digital will stake, hedge and manage the recovered crypto assets for FTX creditors. Novogratz was one of the first ones to voice the need to lock up the founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried. However, Galaxy Digital reported losing $500 million last year in Q2. So this is what's going down, my people. So my people, I appreciate you all for the love and support of the channel. Hit the like button for me, hit the subscribe button, share the video. I'm Soloscrooge with the Solo News. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.